and the country stares at a 1.11 trillion shilling budget deficit. More troubling are the options available to plug it, given the fact that the country has exhausted its runway for sourcing foreign debt. We begin tonight with the NTV's Brian George Otieno.
Kenya's fiscal deficit for the 2026-2027 financial year stands at 1.11 trillion Kenya shillings, which equates to approximately 5.9% of the gross domestic product (GDP). To finance the deficit, the government is making a historic shift towards the domestic market. Domestic borrowing will account for about 1 trillion shillings, while external borrowing makes up for a smaller fraction. Out of the 4.857 trillion shillings total budget, 1.3 trillion shillings is allocated purely to debt servicing and interest payments. While there are fears that government's foray into the domestic debt market may crowd out the private sector, it also stares at a stark reality of investor apathy because of the capped yield rates.
From a forward-looking perspective, you're saying that the yield uptick is sort of factoring the aspect that inflation is going to go higher. But the MPC that you saw a couple of days ago, 2 days ago to be precise, that the CBR central bank rate being retained at 8.75%, essentially is taking a different view that inflation, yes, it might go higher, but it might not even surpass that 7.5%. So that's something that even as investors start thinking about how to price these treasury bills, treasury bonds, they have to be cognizant of the fact that now, okay, wait a minute, our view is that inflation probably might go higher and we need to be compensated adequately. Yeah, but from the reading of the MPC statement that came 2 days ago, that is not pretty much the case, the view that MPC is sharing.
With a reduced headroom for external concession or borrowing, commercial lending may be an option, but only when the tough conditions attached to it are met.
First, Kenya has moved to a level where getting concessional loans from the multilaterals is becoming not easy because they're looking at Kenya as a big economy. Yeah. We are not a struggling economy, so to speak. So the multilaterals are there, but they are not as we are not. That space is not so open to us because they're saying we have the capacity now to go and get our funding through commercial borrowing. Now, the commercial borrowing, looking at the environment today, is not a very good option. The macros are not good globally.
Experts now recommend innovative ways of liability management. Some low-hanging fruits now include debt swaps, debt refinancing, as was seen earlier with the early retirement of the $2 billion Eurobond, among other measures.
They are still keenly pursuing borrowing externally, but slowly moving away from the multilateral financing, but also exploring the commercial financing, other alternative external financing such as samurai bonds, which they keep talking about, sustainability bond, panda bonds. So those are likely to be pursued as an avenue of sort of moving away from the multilateral financing. And obviously Kenya is a bigger economy, which now justifies the move towards this kind of financing.
To borrow, to tax, or to reduce expenditure, the country now waits to see Mbadi's genius in balancing this trilemma that rears its head on Budget Day 2026. Brian George Otieno from Parliament Buildings on Budget Day, NTV, Nairobi.